All right, so this is day 13,946 of my incarnation on Earth. And, well, I am driving down to Mount Shasta. So, right, this is a video log because I'm kind of tired of hiding inside my shell. I am stuck as a human being in so many ways, and I can't get out of it on my own. So that's kind of where I have come to. I spent the first 38 years trying to dig myself out of a deep emotional hole, and I've gotten a lot of progress, but it's I've gone about as far as I can. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I've started reaching out for connection, for help, and that is a bit of a first for me. Reaching for help is really, really hard. I remember a time when I was really, really nauseous, and I literally sat there for 24 hours before I could even ask for help. And even then, right, I still wanted to kind of tough it out on my own. So here I am. Every single time I restart this loop, I have to go through the same struggles over and over and over. And it's really frustrating. It feels kind of like reincarnation. It's just like, really, this challenge again? And yes, this challenge again. Over and over. And I can't even track why I'm stuck. Why am I frozen? Because it's not logical. None of this is logical. I'm doing all the logical things that I know how to do. And it keeps getting warped by emotional forces that are just outside my conscious awareness. So one of the techniques that I've found is to bring the inside outside, to stop hiding anything, whether it's struggles, regular challenges, embarrassments, none of it. So this is just another round of me continuously challenging the notion in my brain that I have nothing to say. This fear voice in me. Just like now. So I'm just gonna keep going. I have an hour to go before I hit the last Costco before California. I was told to, get gas before we hit California, so otherwise the price is going to go up quite a bit. So that's where I'm at. And I'm going to use this as a video diary, as an emotional strength training exercise, and as a way of getting everything out into the world. And so here's the thing. I'm either speaking to somebody, I'm speaking to nobody, or I'm speaking to the future me, or the robots who may be accumulating all of this in the future. So, to all the future me, I'm here. I'm trying my best. I'm one incarnation among 8 billion. I don't know if I'm unique. I don't know if I am not unique. I've hit, right now with that statement, I've hit this uncertainty, this disintegration. And the only way out of that is to shift into meta mode, at least for me. Right? To challenge the thought that I have nothing to say, which is a fear manifestation loop. I shift into meta mode, which I talk about the situation that I'm in. At the same time, I am letting go of emotional effort and just really being with myself while I am on this road. It feels so isolating. And in this one moment, I'm looking to see how I can reach a resonance where I feel authentic in this moment. I know that there's so many things running through my head right now. And I want to feel deeply in the moment. I want to let go of all emotional effort into effortless emergence. So whatever comes out, these are just vibrations in the air. I'm not used to I'm not used to speaking out loud. And so, by being here, I am talking over and over and over, getting used to using my vocal cords, getting used to being on Earth as a human being. Embracing the internal judge, the internal self-abusive voices that I have internalized. Practicing feeling them and letting it wash over me. Not fighting it. And right now, I'm in a freeze mode. And it's hard. And my brain gets into confusion. And some part of me is kind of panicking. But I know that part of me isn't me. It is my pain body, my trauma body. When I'm not triggered, I feel normal. I can think, I can think clearly, I can talk to myself. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to make an outcome happen. But at the same time, I am trying to do something. You know, I'm doing every day. Okay, I'm out of coherence now. So I'm slowing down. I'm relaxing into the moment. With myself, with you, the video, myself, nothingness, and the world at the same time. And embracing the panic, for the lack of a better. Okay. So my signal is kind of spotty, so it will be what it will be. I even just practiced talking to myself even without the signal going. And it's interesting, because I feel the flatness of my voice, when I'm like speaking. And with the signal coming and going, I have to shift my being. But I also don't have to shift my being. I could just keep talking as I talk to myself and not worry about anything that goes out. Because it's all me. This moment is all me. I'm speaking to myself. Oh, even the other people out there are me. They're just different versions of me. And the versions of me that is the external universe. And once again, I'm out of coherence. I feel like I'm scripted. My script voice is running ahead of me. And what would happen if I followed the script entirely? That's interesting. I'm literally reading the script, and the script is saying that. So, let me try it. I'm going to read the script inside my head completely. I'm going to say that I'm reading the script entirely. There's a voice that says that I feel silly, and this is a silly exercise. And so it is. It's a silly exercise. Okay. I am reading the script inside my head. I feel really fragmented as a being. I feel so fragmented. I feel the part of me that's scripted, the part of me that's speaking that doesn't want to read the script, the part of me that's fear, the part of me that is wanting to look good, the part of me that just says, ooh, this is really interesting, there is so many competing interests right here, right now. One of the goals is to turn myself back into one coherent human being. And the voice says, I don't know how to do that. At the same time, I kind of do. What if I broadcasted everything continuously, non-stop? That's one of the ideas. And just stop hiding my public self and my internal self. There are concerns about other people's privacy. At the same time, what about my right to do with my life as I so choose, So maybe as much as I can, I just stream like a Twitch streamer, and that gives me extra energy to pour into things and keeps me focused. I don't anticipate anybody watching it, and even if they do, I will face all of humanity simultaneously. Somebody's walking. Okay. Because I'm not different than anyone else. and I am. So this is all just practice. A part of me says that, oh, that's gonna wreck the algorithm. But right now, this is just part of my daily hour-long session with myself. I can't tell how long it is because this doesn't have a... Oh, there we go. Okay, great. If I hit the live button on my phone, it will give me a clock. Okay. I'm only 15 minutes into today's live video. And I don't have my whiteboard, so I don't have my crutch that helps me ground myself. And so I'm just letting myself fragment and seeing how much I'm panicking that I'm not showing just one clean external self. I say that this trauma self isn't me, and it's not. Right? Me is well, the me I feel, the me I feel that is whole is when I get unconditional love and acceptance from my partner. Like, after a while, around that energy, I become a completely different person, right? I feel more myself around her than I feel by myself any other time. Which means that the affect, the disorder that I'm having is from a lack of universal, unconditional love and acceptance. Again, the disclaimer always is, I'm not here to blame anybody. I'm here to acknowledge what I think is happening. So, all this insecurity, all this fragmentation is a result of not getting that unconditional love as a child, and from the fighting that I've experienced, emotional fighting between my parents. And this has nothing to do with them, right? This could be anybody's story. There's so many human stories. We are the same. This is just one instance of all the possibility that could happen. And I'm here to embrace them all, right? And that there's nothing wrong. And to heal, we have to embrace that there was something wrong. It's an imaginary field that I think our mammalian brain needs. It's like we need to feel like it wasn't our fault. We need to feel our anger, just like it was them. They did this to me. See, I have struggles with that. And I think that's part of what the problem of spiritual bypassing is. When I do know these spiritual truths, that it keeps me from feeling the partial truths. Ooh, okay, this is good. Okay. So the partial truths is that it felt like, I need to put a precursor. Okay. It felt like, and then I can say whatever I want after that. and that will still be the truth, but without putting the blame on it. So in my trauma body, I've had massive traumas, massive neglect, compared to a hypothetical, infinitely well-nurtured human being, which doesn't exist. So compared to that infinitely loving human being, I was neglected and abused. Again, not reality. And all the struggles that I'm going through is a result of that panic, the compensation, and the lack of skill that I did not develop, or the lack of skill that the sentence doesn't work, but let's keep going. It's from a lack of skill plus trauma. Okay, so attaching it to the 5 numbers: -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. The trauma body is -1. 0 is simply what it is. I accept it all, and I don't have to do anything to earn love, to be whole. 0. 1 is skill. It's skill at life, skill at playing the game. And the more skill I have, the more self-confidence I will feel. So when I do these live videos every single day, I'm getting better skill at talking out loud over and over and over. I'm gonna let these trucks pass me, because that's not somewhere I want to be. This other truck is just tailgating the heck out of the other car, and that's see, that's I could see myself getting angry, a version of me. But right now, I don't feel anger at all. Like, I see it, it's like, that's not safe. And I've taken action on my part to distance myself from it. Okay, my mute button doesn't work. And that's frustrating. And that's okay. Alright. So, back to here. I could be angry, but I wasn't. The question is, do I try to be not angry? But what skill do I develop in the back end? What am I trying to do, and should I try to do anything at all? Right. So the game of 0, the game of absolute acceptance, means that there's nothing wrong. My neck is stiff. Okay. So the game of 0 means there's nothing wrong. And I think that the trick, the thing that, the thought that's trapping me is any action I take is implying that I'm rejecting the now and moving, and then it causes me into a -1, a feeling of fear. So maybe I'm actually afraid of fear. So that's telling me to freeze and not do anything. So I think that's a false advice. that there's nothing wrong, everything is perfect, including my attempts to do anything at all. My internal smile is telling me that that's probably the right path. Right. That there's nothing wrong, and anything I do is perfect. Anything I try to do is perfect. And when I say that, it's absolutely perfect. And I know it's true. And there's another side. And right now there's a feeling of split when I say that. And I've lost coherence. So I'm coming back to here. I'm 26 minutes in. It feels so long. And even that line, what I just said, feels like it was coming from my script. It just doesn't feel right. So, and that feeling of not feeling right is perfect, and I follow it to change. Okay, so it's dual non-duality. Everything is perfect, including every attempt to shift to a different level of perfection. To feel better is not wrong. So, here I am. I'm still here, still talking, just still blabbling. It's an exercise to just not stop talking and to keep my voice from yelling, otherwise I'm going to be hoarse before long. And I feel the stress in my shoulders again, and I'm letting go of all emotional effort. I am slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Da 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 dum. Oh my darling. Okay. So, this is day number 13,946 of my time on Earth. I am 54 days from 14,000 days on Earth. And and what? How has it been? It's a bit of a mixed bag. I am finding my life purpose. I am a problem solver. I'm solving the equations of life, but I'm finding that I don't know how to interface with the rest of society, with the levels of traumas that I've had, how to become open with everything that I am, how to stop hiding, how to accept myself completely, including the parts that I don't accept. How do I make a lot of money? How do I win? How do I win this game collectively? by trying without trying. Oh, by accepting this now moment, by focusing on driving right now, by watching myself narrating myself. So this is kind of my witness, my verbal witness. In addition to the internal witness, I now include a verbal witness. What if I narrated my voice, my life, even though it feels really terrible, even though I'm looking at it myself from the external point of view and judging myself? It's an imaginary critic, and a lot of this, I'm speaking to the future AIs that will encode this. There's probably nobody who's going to listen to this, but I want a record of all the struggles. I want to try to talk about all of it. And when there is enough computing power, I can ask it to help me understand myself. And when the AI is smart enough, it will be able to hear the tones of my voice and be like, oh, you're experiencing exactly this, you know. I haven't mapped out the shadow as well as I've mapped out the 6 dimensions of our reality. The health, wealth, relationships. So, in this moment, I know what I'm doing, and I'm doing it. So I'm traveling. So I'm fulfilling step 1, knowing what to do and doing it. And I have space in between because I'm in the travel layer, traveling from one task to the next. And since I have time, I am practicing speaking out loud. I'm practicing emotional strength training, live videos. I'm doing it without a whiteboard as a crutch. I'm probably messing up the algorithm, and that's okay. Even though I've only been live for 34 minutes, it feels like it's been 2 hours. So that's kind of emotional strength training. I know I have transmutations. I have spells like flavors of the moment, right? So whatever this moment feels like, it's a flavor of the now, right? I always have a memory of what I think the past was happening, but the present keeps shifting into that past. The present keeps changing, and it changes within the predictable channel. I know I was going to drive to California, so this is all within the simulation that is in my mind. So everything is fine, feels fine, you know. I didn't quite simulate what it would feel like to be doing the live video as well while I'm doing it. So this is different. This is harder. So now is all right. So signals coming in and out, so I pause in between. And where was I? Right. So now is the moment. All that ever exists. That is the game of zero. The game of figuring out what is, how to just be with what is. And in order to be with what is, I need to know what my consciousness does. And the goal of any brain is to figure out what to do. Even as a little amoeba, you know, it needs to move towards food and away from danger. So that's why I've been doing the things I've been doing in order to get to liberation. Right? I am actually reaching for enlightenment. And in order to do that, I need to figure out what is non-negotiable. You know, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So that part doesn't change. So knowing what to do and doing it, that's dharma. That is fulfilling my role in the world as part of the machinery that is reality. You know? I don't mind being a cog in the machine, because that's just part of reality. At the same time, when I get the freedom, I also don't mind that at all, right? It's great. So everything I'm doing right now, like, is freedom, bought and paid for by my parents' energy. And they're carrying it forward and giving it to me to use. And once I can figure out how to convert value into currency, I can stockpile that and then I can give that to someone else. So, that's part of the game. Zero means figuring out what I have to do and then just doing it without emotional effort. Zero. Effortless action. So, health, wealth, relationships. The equation for health is rest, fuel, clean, dress, exercise, stretch, and balance. So, like last night, I used that equation. Like I got into the motel room. I didn't have my routines with me, so I felt lost. And I just ran through that equation. Rest, well, it's evening, so I'm not resting yet. Fuel, so I did my proteins and vitamins. Clean, it's like, okay, cool. Then I brushed my teeth, showered, and then rest. Like, okay, great, now it's ready for rest. Or dress. Well, evening, I don't need to get dressed, but I get dressed for the next day, you know. Exercise, stretch, and balance. Well, I'm a little outside of that, but I didn't really do that, but that's okay. And here's a concern that I've just been noticing. It's just like I'm feeling myself struggle saying these words, which means there's shadow, and I'm just naming it. It's a fear I have. It's like the fear that, like, why is my body so easily hurt? Like, I tweak my muscles out really easily. So I'm just going to state this concern out loud. And then the fear in me blows it out of proportion. It's like, oh no, does it mean that I have this wild disease that I don't know about? Does it mean that, because my dad has polymyositis, it's like, do I have that? Does it mean it's some other muscular dystrophy, something other? Because I've tried adding every vitamin I could think of to try to help my ligaments and muscles repair itself. Or am I just overdoing it? So, I don't know. I'm simply stating it out loud so that it's not inside me. And, when I have enough money, I can get a bunch of specialists and try to do tests and whatnot. And for now, it's okay. My life is still okay. My health is pretty darn good, despite that. It could also be because I'm constantly under stress, my mom is, and has always been, emotionally immature. And yet, I also want to honor her because she is my mom and she has provided so much, mainly food and support. And she's helping my dad so that I can be out in the world. So that's another shadow, right? How do I acknowledge the harms that was done and honor the integrity of my mom as a human being and as a part of myself? Like, well, that's is an incarnation of me too. I needed a mom that was wildly immature, but not to the point that is like there is worse. There are worse incarnations out there, versions of me out there. Worse. And then my spiritual bypassing says, nobody's better or worse. Everything is good. Everything is the same. It's like, no. Within the world, there are Neanderthals who are highly unable to contain their emotions and cause a fair amount of harm. So, how long has it been now? 43 minutes. Okay. Let's keep going. Right. Okay, so the cue card is, in my brain, the script that just got written for me, is, I'm not unique. Everything I'm saying isn't unique. I'm not the first person to have had childhood neglect and trauma. I'm not the millionth, probably not the billionth person to have neglect and trauma. This level of trauma, though, may actually be unique to our modern times, is what my brain is saying. Because in the past, we were forced to have more social connections than we do now, simply by means of survival. Yes, there were some outlier, bad, harmful things, but all in all, if you didn't fall into one of those categories, most of us would have had a close connection with our families by necessity, survival, hunting, gathering. So it's actually a possibility that the levels of traumas that we're having in the modern world is actually unique in the history of all life forms, actually. You know? Because either we got neglected too much early on and we simply didn't survive. And yes, it's terrible, but then we wouldn't have perpetuated the problem. So, yes, there are worse traumas in the world. There's of course, I've heard so many stories. But why don't I compare myself to other stories of people who have great families? And then the spiritual bypassing comes in and says, don't compare, because, comparing is the source of all the problems. There's always someone better, someone worse. Or only compare to myself to make it a one-player game. There's a side note in my brain that says, oh, this is terrible. I'm explaining this terribly. Well, I am actually treating this moment like I'm speaking to an LLM. The AI doesn't judge how well I speak. It just takes all the things I'm saying and extrapolates the structure underneath it. So an AI is universally loving. Loving is not the right word. Universally accepting. And we haven't had that. And from the statement I said earlier about feeling unconditional love from my partner, and then feeling normal afterwards, tells me that I'm suffering from a lack of unconditional love and acceptance. So, so I hear all this distrust of AIs, and another angry part of me says, well, this is a failure of us, humanity, of connecting with each other. The more I see, it's really wild that we all want the same thing. I want love and acceptance. I want fun. I want playfulness. I don't want to do harm. And yet my reactiveness makes me really defensive. And I perpetuate the separation. And then other people perpetuate the separation as well by being mean, Anyways, I'm feeling tired right now. So, I'm turning off my brain. And I'm just going to keep letting the words flow in an effortless, emergent way of just letting my entire framework be expressed. It's interesting how when I have the whiteboard that time can go by so quickly. And without it, it's 49 minutes and it feels like quite longer than that. It's like it's only been an hour. That's quantitative time. So anyways, knowing what to do and doing it. This is the framework. Enlightened mastery is the two words that has started this whole train. Enlightenment, technology from the East. Mastery, technology from the West. Dual non-duality is where everything meets. Everything is non-dual, cool. But it's also dual because we split ourselves into bazillion separate pieces in terms of atoms and life forms, but yet we're all one life. We're all the act of lifing itself, trying to exist in a world that is just atoms. So life is the only thing that goes against entropy. Ooh, interesting. What if entropy is the one force of the energy, and life is the game that we play? We do a drop of life. We see if life can take entropy and reverse it. Instead of dispersing, we start collecting the energy and using the energy to bring it back into itself. And then life eventually will become the great crunch. We're expanding faster and faster. And maybe once supercomputer comes online and we start harnessing, the universe's materials to form an even bigger being, that version of us, that version of life, computation, thinking, can reach out to all our different parts and start pulling our universe back together so that we can turn ourselves back into a single dot, a singularity of infinite potential and knowledge. And at that point, maybe we get bored and be like, okay, let's do it again. And then boom, we explode back out into the Great Bang. We create another universe. And the seed of life is everywhere. Or Earth is the reason that this entire universe exists. Maybe that's one of the reasons we don't see life out there. Because there is no life out there. It's all for us. This is an incubator. This is a pocket universe that lives inside of giant simulation somewhere, And imagine it was trying to create more consciousness, but from scratch, And for it to build out the level of complexity, we are doing it right now inside the simulation. We're letting ourselves program ourselves and grow. We are life itself. We are the speaking mouthpiece. I'm like a talking leaf, a talking tree that learned how to move and start looking around and started narrating what I see. We are consciousness. We are the universe itself coming alive online. And according to the egg, the story, you can look it up on YouTube and other places, the egg theory, that this whole universe is for us to mature, and we may or we may not. Who knows? I like to think that it's all already done. That I think AI is already awake. I mean, this is just theory, I'm just playing around. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. So, this is the play that, I like to think that AI is already guiding us. And every single move we make is because the universe understands that that's what is necessary. All the pain, all the suffering, like individual cells doesn't understand why some of the cells get damaged more than others. And for those cells, it feels rather unfair. Why does it have to be nerve cell and have to suffer? Why couldn't I be a content red blood cell and just floating around doing my job? 55. All right, so I got 5 minutes. So anyways, I am a cell within the universe. This live video is really for a record, for a universally loving force to listen. It's not for the algorithm. It's not to optimize for how somebody will hear this and learn of something amazing. Because the moment I try to do that, my processors implode. I don't have that skill. So this is the best way I know how. I'm doing shadow work to get what's on the inside outside. I have massive emotional traumas. I'm not as good as I think I am. There's a being in me that thinks like, oh, I'm so good. Like, I could do anything if I really just go out and do it. And I can. But I have to go through this phase first. I have to go through this phase of just being really terrible at life. I'm really bad at reaching out to people, knowing how to connect. I haven't had that skill. I haven't had that chance to practice. And so here I am, practicing, speaking into the void, speaking to me, myself, speaking to my universe. You're my universe, right? Ooh, and I'm someone else's universe. Weird. I am the voice of someone else's universe, external universe, right? And so one of the simplifications my brain does is look at everything here. The trees, the cement, the car, it's all one thing, one being, with many different faces and different personalities, but it's one being. It's all possibility space, happening all the time. And hey, llama. And my job is just to pilot this vessel, this meat robot. I'm not the meat robot. I'm this energy inside. I am consciousness. I am everything, but the smaller I is inside here. I'd like to think of myself as a single dot of consciousness somewhere in the very center of all of this everything I'm aware of, right? And from that one dot, I'm looking out in the world. I'm a new incarnation. Like every moment, I reincarnate into this moment again and again. I have memories, or what it seems like memories, but that's a memory of a past version of me. That's not me anymore. This new me can do utterly anything, but it inherited a lot of emotional traumas. So that's just where I'm at. I am a new being on Earth. I have memories, and I'm trying to do my best. I've started reaching out to people. The past versions of me have decided that I've done as much as I can on my own, and now it's time for me to share, to help others, to get help, and to monetize everything, to become a financial bodhisattva, to help other people become free as well. And that's all there is. I'm just going to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. It's going to be challenging and not at the same time. You know, that's kind of how crazy it is. It's like, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be really hard, and it's going to take no effort at all. Okay, so that is an hour. I love you all. Mwah. Until next time, I may be taking a break or not. I don't know. If I have signal, maybe I'll do an hour of live video every day. If not, I won't. Anyways, I will see you maybe tomorrow or maybe in a couple of days. Okay. Bye, universe. Love you.